And we are live. Welcome to Just Domestic. Going to go ahead and start off in usual fashion. Go ahead and see if anybody shows up in the side chat other than the great Fuzz Fork. But first, we'll start off in the usual fashion.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you. G23 out there, Fuzz Fork out there, Scott79, Fresh Fowler chiming in. So a few people starting to show up here. Yeah, I know when it's not on the Scotsman's channel, it throws a lot of people off. And in all actuality, the majority of the people that are subbed to the Scotsman are not subbed to me, and I'm quite fine with that. I understand my channel's about dead, and I'm almost on the verge of retirement. But in the process of that, here in the room, we've got the professional amateur. How are you tonight, sir?
Good. How's everybody in the room? And explain me why you call this domestic only when you got two foreigners over here as well.
Bitch, I'm legal. Kiss my ass. I don't hear that shit.
So am I. Still,
I'm a legal immigrant.
The roots are elsewhere.
Yeah, that is a definite thing. And you know, I'm not exactly sure why I do that. It should still be foreign and domestic, but I just don't feel right with foreign and domestic when Scotsman's not here. And Scotsman's not around because he's making arrangements for some tech support to create internet service so that he can be here. He's making a big life venture, I guess you would call it, and currently doesn't have the internet service from what I've been told. Good to see New York Outcast jumping in there, Chris 338, Gun Loving Grandpa jumping in out there, Keith Gregory. We got a few jumping in out there, Ozzy out there. So, Mario, what has been going on in your world?
Oh, well, thanks for having me, brother. No, man, just a lot of personal stuff. Just got my stepdad is in the hospital and just kind of been dealing with that. Once in a while, I pop into a couple of chats here and there just so that I can kind of forget about all the stuff that's going on with the situation. But other than that, man, I'm just hanging in there and just trying to stay positive through this whole ordeal. So that's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, I was personally affected by the crap going on this week. A member of my crew tested positive, and due to me working with him in the proximity, along with my boss, we had to go out on testing. So I only worked part of the week this week, which is going to be rather painful. Yet I ended up coming up negative. I was kind of not feeling good for a couple of days, but I ended up coming up negative. So that's a good thing, at least for me. Professional amateur, what's been going on with you?
Not much. You still get paid, right? When you stay home because of the COVID.
The way it's working with my company is I get paid regular rate for 8 hours a day. I typically work 10, 12, sometimes more hours a day. And I don't get overtime until I hit 40 for the week anyway. But I do get part of my pay. So it's going to be a little less painful than if I went completely out. Like if I was working for myself, like yourself, if I was working for myself, then I would be SOL. I just wouldn't have anything coming in.
Oh, you don't know the half of it. But yeah, my wife was she was tested, Well, she had a physical because she needed new medication for whatever for her thyroids. So they did antibody test. Turns out she already had the COVID. She never even knew it. At least she thought she had it back in January, but that's about it. She wasn't really sick since. And I was tested a month or two ago for antibodies. Nothing. So it's really, really, really strange. But to be honest, it's not something that I'm losing sleep over because eventually we're all gonna get it. Although I did have a funny thing happen. As you well know, I don't wear masks, and right now I'm avoiding federal buildings for that reason as well. And I was in the Home Depot. I had a cart loaded up, and I go there a lot, so they kind of know me. Nobody ever says anything. Once somebody said, "Oh, you need a mask," and I said, "No, I don't." I just kept walking. So I get to the cashier, I had the stuff loaded, and lady had like half the stuff already scanned. It was an older lady, and then she looks at me. She goes, "You need to have a mask." I'm like, "No, I don't." And I walked away to the cashier side. So basically, I was behind the glass, so she can keep doing whatever she does. And there's a glass between us. You're perfectly safe if you're afraid. She's like, "Well, then I'm not waiting on you." I'm like, "Okay, no big deal." Slide the card over to the next register. She scanned me and ran me by, and I left the store. That was it. Like, I'm not gonna yell at her because I understand there's a store policy and whatnot, but we can make a fuss out of it. But it's it was kind of interesting. Although I'm gonna have to wear a mask next month now in March because my daughter's turning 16, so I gotta go with her to DMV to get a permit. She already has an appointment. She's already studying hard. So whoever's in New York, starting like a mid-March, avoid the main roads.
Start praying too.
What's that?
It says start praying too.
I already went over it with my son, so I took her out a couple of times, let her drive around the block and all that. So she'll be fine. I got a good car.
Gonna go sky high, brother.
Not if I don't tell them.
Yeah, it's soon going to cost you a big chunk of money just to start a car.
I know. I know. I added my son. He jumped up like $2,500, 4 years ago. So yeah, I know. I know what the story is, but it is what it is. At the same token, we're trying to figure out what to do with my goddaughter because she's on her own, and she got a quote for her car insurance at like $6,000. So trying to see if maybe we can add her to our policy or something, just to help her out as much as we can. Anyway, she's enjoying herself in Florida. I sent her a picture of my dashboard in a truck showing 7 degrees, and she sends me a picture of her lying on the beach down in Florida, which I replied, "You biatch." But she deserves it, so.
Yeah, I can tell you guys, I get cold when I see all those pictures of you guys with all that snow. I'm like, oh no bueno. Yeah. Let me put my jacket on. Oh man. I tell you, people over here bitch if it's 50 degrees, man. It's pretty sad, bro. Pretty sad.
50 degrees.
Yeah, it's been
in the shorts.
Yeah.
It's positively been in the single digits. It's been snowing. It actually rained all day yesterday. I was surprised that it just didn't turn to ice, but then it snowed later on during the evening. It's just been absolutely kind of half miserable here in Iowa.
Yeah. I mean, it is Iowa, bro. I mean, it's pretty
It
bad.
is Iowa. So, I mean, there is that. I too am not one that wears a mask unless I absolutely have to. And yeah, I had to go into a doctor's office, and yeah, they're gonna make you wear a mask. The thing that I find very peculiar about that is the only person that wore a mask in my area at work, in my department, the person that wore a mask on a religious basis was the first person to get it.
Eventually we're all gonna get it. I mean, vaccine, no vaccine, all that. I mean, it's still a glorified flu. Yes, people die of it. Yes, underlying condition. Yes, there's this, but it's always the same thing with the flu. I mean, we're talking fraction of the percent, really the difference from one to another, and just a bunch of lies. Just a bunch of freaking lies surrounding all that. So eventually, everybody's gonna get it. So you know what?
Well, and then we had what, Comey and a bunch of other liberal rulers. Oh, we need to start opening up our businesses. We need to get things moving, or else there's not going to be anything to start moving. And it's like right after Biden got into office that all this is starting to happen.
Yep.
Whatever. They can call us conspiracy theorists all they want, but that's exactly what we were saying.
I think the thing that kind of strikes me as odd is why the hell do we have all that National Guard and all those freaking fencing around the Capitol and the White House, man? That's freaking ridiculous, man. You're wasting money on this crap. What the hell are you so scared of? Like, seriously.
Well,
to a certain extent, they've always had a certain amount of National Guard there during every transition.
Yes, but why have all this fencing around? You know what that reminds me of? The green zone in Iraq. That's exactly what that crap reminds me of. And to be honest with you, there's no need for that crap. Yeah, you had some knuckleheads that went to the Capitol. I don't agree with what they did, but my thing is, you can't continue to live in fear, man. If you were elected by the people, why the hell are you hiding behind fences and National Guardsmen? I don't get that.
Well, maybe, just maybe, if you need 25,000 plus National Guards for your inauguration, and you keep in extra 5,000 until the second impeachment, if it's going to happen, and you sign 40-something executive orders in the first week or week and a half, or how long it's been, maybe, just maybe, you are not elected by the goddamn people. So,
yeah, it really is. And it doesn't surprise me, but it really surprised a lot of people that I know, the amount of executive orders the man was signing. And considering in October, he equated national orders or executive orders were only for dictators. And here he is literally setting the record for the amount of executive orders signed. And it's on tape. It's recorded. The man doesn't even know what he's signing.
Oh yeah, I mean, right now we got to be the laughing stock of the whole world. Not to mention we got the Dementia Joe up there. It's just like I said, after the inauguration, it just threw the wind out of my sails. I felt like somebody kicked me in the balls.
Yeah, you're not the only one, man. Every time I see him on TV or I see anything, I give him the bird. I don't give a damn. Sorry, that's just the way I feel. I'm not gonna apologize for being me.
Changing the topic. Who bought some GameStop stock?
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah. I took my stimulus and buried it in GameStop. Yep, absolutely.
Well, actually, if you did back when it was like $6, you would made out like a bandit.
You would have made out bad right now. You would have just totally scored.
There's a guy that in 2019, I was watching a video of somebody else explaining the whole thing, how it happened. So there's a guy that invested $50,000 in the GameStop back like late 2019, and basically until about 6 months ago, he was down like $39,000 from that. But he still believed it, and then the whole thing happened when they tried to short the stock and all that. And I think he's worth like 22 mil or something right now. So I sure hope he cashed out, And this is what pisses me off. Again, establishment wins, because as soon as all that crap went up so high, Robinhood and Ameritrade, I have an Ameritrade account, and when I logged in, the very first notice I get, we're limiting the stocks. You cannot buy any GameStop or AMC. I'm like, come on, So hopefully Congress will do something about that, because they are talking about it. So
no, they're not going to do nothing about it.
And they're freaking
I mean,
worthless.
how incompetent our Congress is going to be? I mean, it was already incompetent when we had the Senate majority and Republicans and the Democrats had the House, But I just I don't know. It seems to me like they're all lining up to be puppets. That's all they're doing, man. Pretty interesting stuff.
Well, maybe one of those days somebody will storm the Capitol building again. This time they won't be peaceful at this rate.
You know what I really had to say about that whole situation. If those people were really terrorists, they would have blown and put that freaking building on fire. I guarantee you that would have happened. They didn't do that. I'm not justifying what they did, but to a certain point, what's the difference between that and what they did in Portland?
Well, that's the thing. That's why they call them insurrectionists, because they attacked the building, the Capitol. The fact that the Portland and other cities, they attacked the federal building, and Trump had to send federal troops to guard the federal buildings. That was fine. That's okay, because they were peaceful protesters. Yeah, I mean, when I was there, when I was live and I was showing how many people are there in front, if all them people really wanted to storm the building, get inside and grab those senators and throw them out the goddamn window, there's not a force in the DC. There was no force in the DC at that point to stop them. I mean, you're talking a couple 100,000 people. Even if they start firing the live ammo, they would run out of bullets. So it's just, it is what it is.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to stop them. Ultimately, they allowed people in the building. It's not like they broke into the building. You just the size of those doors alone. Yes, there's a couple of 100,000 people. If they really wanted in that building, they would have been in that building a lot sooner than they were. It had nothing at all to do with what Trump said at all. So much incitement has been done by the left for years, and they want to try to say that Trump's words of "go peacefully and make your voices heard" was inciting it. That was ridiculous.
And they wasted no time. Literally hours later, Ilham Akbar, or whatever the fuck her name is, she was tweeting that she's preparing articles of impeachment already. Like, it just, you never saw a single person that's been hated by the entire establishment like Donald Trump.
Well, and it takes months and months and months and months for them to make a decision on if they're going to get us a stimulus, which you pay with your taxes, by the way. If you haven't done your taxes yet, whatever stimulus you received, you're paying it back, because that was a loan on your taxes, like I said from the get-go. Anywho, it takes months and months and months to put that together, but let's impeach the president over this takes overnight.
Not even that. They're impeaching a private citizen. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not even constitutional.
Which has that now been shut out, because the fact is the man's private citizen now.
They're still going with the trial. It doesn't make any sense. Not only that, but then all the Republicans said they're not going to support it. I mean, you had a handful of Republicans that turned the other cheek and actually voted for this crap to happen, which really upsets the crap out of me, because I'm like, why is it that the Republicans can't find any unity, but no matter how wacko the fucking Democrats have as far as their people, everybody supports their ass. I don't understand why we can't support each other. You know what I'm saying?
That's good the problem. Or bad. We support each other. Me, you, him, everybody in the chat. Even if you meet regular Democrat on the street, you're not going to be shouting at him. It's a couple of bad apples, and then you have the actual politicians that they do whatever the fuck they want. It's just I just can't believe it. Right? Here's a prime example. Right? In New York, they trying to pass the body vest. So there's a bill on the floor for the body vest. So basically, body armor is going to be illegal. And a second, some nut job came up with a bill that you can only purchase double the capacity of the magazine every 120 days. So basically, you can buy 20 rounds of ammo every 120 days. So I emailed my state senator twice. Then yesterday or day before yesterday, I emailed her twice. It's been over a week, and I got email about a budget from her, to which I replied that I already sent her 2 emails. I didn't get no response. Well, guess what? About 2 hours ago, I got a personal phone call from her, saying that yes, she knows it and she's absolutely against it. She's on our side and all that, So that doesn't understand. For a state senate, she represents my county. She's a Republican, but somehow the congressman for the same county is a goddamn Democrat, and he represents my county as well. Like, how is it possible? That's mind-boggling. So that's why I never believed in those freaking elections. And guess what? We use the Dominion system as well. So.
Well, Chris 338. So yeah, money talks. So the pipeline, the Keystone Pipeline, what that's really all about, that has nothing all to do with the environment. If people don't know, there a man by the name of Warren Buffett owns the mass majority of all the railroad that hauls crude oil. And he would end up losing, somewhere in the tune of $85 million annually.
$2 billion annually. They charge $30 a barrel to transport the oil. The Keystone Pipeline does it for $10 a barrel.
So what you saw, if you looked into what was donated to the Biden campaign, was something in the tune of $50 to $80 million that Warren Buffett donated to the Biden for president campaign. Gee, I wonder why.
Yep. What about all the BLM money? BLM made more money in 10 months than Amazon.
Dude, did you guys hear about this crap about BLM? They're actually nominating them for a freaking Nobel Peace Prize. Like, are you freaking serious, man? And they're probably going to get it too. I can guarantee you, because they're going to put that pressure and they're going to throw that freaking race car crap, and I guarantee you they're going to win it.
Didn't Obama get a Nobel Prize as well?
Yeah, for what? Really? What?
I think he got it for bowing to China.
Oh, got it.
But yeah, I did not hear about that. That's just sickening. I mean, that is one thing that has been held in high regards for eons. A Nobel Peace Prize for BLM. That is a bunch of BS, bro. Honestly, man. I don't get it.
In all fairness, so the Trump was nominated as well. So.
Yeah, but Trump actually did something. He actually got Kim Jong-un, whatever his name is, to freaking talk to him. He actually walked into North Korea. That boy's got balls, man. Like, seriously. Can you imagine? Secret Service must have been going fucking ape shit when they saw him cross the fucking DMZ. They're like, what the fuck, bro? What are you doing? The boy got balls, man. He's not a contemporary motherfucker at all, for sure.
No, and that's exactly what our country needed and still needs, is a freaking president with a pair.
And he's a businessman. He ran the country like a business, not like a goddamn, like a personal piggy bank.
Yeah, and you know what, guys? To be honest with you, I have my own feelings about all this stuff that, what they're really creating is they're creating an insurrection. That's what they're doing. And insurgency that's going to be twice as, what happened at the Capitol will be a glimpse of what happens, bro. Being straight with y'all, man. Because this is the same crap that I saw in Iraq. When Walter Brenner, whatever his name was, when he was actually, we actually had an American civilian in charge of Iraq, and we were all under the impression that the Iraqi army was going to take over, right? They were going to build them back up and man them up and do all the things they had to do. And this guy said, "Nope, you're not doing none of that." And he disbanded the Iraqi army. So basically, everybody that was in the Iraqi army became an insurgent. And that's the reason why we had such a long, long, bloody ass war, is because we had morons that were trying to dictate, policy. And I'm telling you, this is exactly what it's creating right here, you know? Because I mean, if the whole thing with the Capitol was not a glimpse of what's going to happen, you got another thing coming. They need to be very, very smart about how they go it. And I wouldn't even consider these guys domestic terrorists, because in reality, they're just standing up for their rights. How is that? How is it that a patriot or a terrorist is going to stand up for the rights? No, a terrorist is their purpose is to terrorize the infrastructure. These guys are not terrorizing anything. They just want people to start, they want a voice. I mean, that's the whole reason why Trump won in the first place.
Well, and that's what they're doing, though. They're turning everybody that's patriot into a domestic terrorist. They're already proclaiming, "Oh, this domestic terrorist." When
it's not,
people wave an American flag,
domestic terrorist when the person loves his country and just wants to see, our biggest thing, the biggest problem that we have going on here is that only one group is talking, and that's the same thing. I mean, let's stop and think about it. Why did Trump won? Trump won because people were pissed. How many times did he say, "I'm here to speak for you, the forgotten few, the people that nobody gives a shit about, but yet, you guys are the ones that are keeping the country going." You know what I'm saying? And if you are too stupid to understand that and to see that, we want representation that values our fucking morals and our fucking what we believe our country should be all about. You know what I'm saying? We understand that the country's going to change eventually, but we still want some sort of conservative values, because in reality, that's what built this country. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if they're not willing to give that to the people and to those that are willing to fight for it, they're going to fight for it. And it's no surprise that many of those people that were in the Capitol, in that Capitol building situation, were veterans. Because hey, these guys are the same guys that fought for their country. You think they're not going to fight for what they believe in? It's the whole point why they joined the military, man. It ain't about the money, man. It ain't about everything else. It's about having a life and having a country in which people should have a voice. And that's what all that was.
Oh yeah, there was that video that came out of that vet that basically got into Biden's face. And he's like, "My brothers died right beside me. I spilled my blood for this country. And you, sir, don't belong in it. You're a lie, you're a cheat, you're a steal. And guys like me aren't going to stand for it. We are not going to tolerate it."
And see what they're doing too when they start censoring people. People are not stupid. They're going to find another way to communicate within themselves. You're going to create pretty much, like we have the dark web with the internet. You're going to create a very much like a dark web or something similar to that, in which, everybody else will communicate and find a way. Believe me, there's a lot of people in here that are very smart, man. Being straight with a lot of people that are very good with electronics and communications equipment, and they'll find a way to get their word out or do what they feel that needs to be done. And that's just my thing. It's worse when you silence the people that you feel are your enemies. That's the worst thing you could ever do. because you really don't know what's coming at you, and you can't really prepare for it.
That's pretty much what I was thinking, because the biggest issue is like basically got 75 million people that voted for Trump. Let's say 10% of that are willing to actually stand up, do something, right? How do you organize them, you know? And that's exactly what I was thinking. You got a lot of vets, and most of the vets probably voted for him. They against all the crap going on, and they probably have the way to organize themselves because they keep tabs on each other and whatnot. So that's probably one of the things that might happen.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a lieutenant colonel that was in that group, and then the whole Capitol situation, and somebody identified him, and so now he's been court-martialed for trespassing on a federal building. But yet, many times, this was the same lieutenant colonel that was doing security for the Capitol. So it's kind of interesting times we have going on, ladies and gentlemen.
Or explain me one thing.
National Guardsmen that were getting removed from duty.
Oh yes, there was quite a few. I think there was like 200 National Guardsmen that were removed from the security detail, and the reason why is because the FBI started going to their social media pages and seeing what they posted, and I guess it wasn't to the liking of the FBI or the Secret Service, and they pulled them out, sent them home.
But explain me one thing. They say Capitol buildings belongs to people. So why we not allowed there? And now they're thinking of putting a permanent fence all the way around.
That is the world that I'm telling you, man. That is the stupidest thing you're gonna do. You're gonna create. It's gonna make it even easier because think about it. You're creating a permanent structure. When you create a permanent structure, you know exactly where the weak points are at. You know what I'm saying? And when you create those weak points, they already know how to get you. I mean, to be honest, stupid fencing ain't going to stop a mob. It ain't going to stop people that are willing to get their point across.
It didn't even stop a single shooter during a softball, a softball event or baseball event by senators. I mean, they were in a fenced field. It didn't even stop a single shooter.
Yeah, but the fact that the shooter was targeting Republicans and he was a Democrat, that they kind of forgot about that.
Hi.
She's kind of frozen.
There she is. What's up, girlfriend? Yeah, unmute, Mama.
You're muted.
Yeah, you got to unmute.
You're self-censoring.
Yes.
Plug.
There
Okay.
you go.
What
Go
is
ahead,
going
girl.
on?
We over here talking about insurrection. Hey.
Well, it's really some troubling times that we're in right now, especially since being a conservative and Christian is considered
It's like a double
being a
whammy.
terrorist to the Democrats.
Yeah. Telling you, man.
They bless their hearts. They
Bless
haven't
their
found
heart.
Jesus yet, but they better
Mhm.
find Jesus because they about to meet him if they don't get their hearts right. They gonna start.
And then this is the whole thing that I keep telling you. What the hell are they so scared about? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
what are you so scared about?
they're scared because when you live by the Bible, they don't understand how somebody could sit there and believe in something that they don't ever see. They don't understand how somebody could put their faith into something more than themselves. But when you don't have your heart right, you're going to be filled with a whole bunch of ugly and negative. So, of course, that's why we have a Democratic Party, because it's hateful and negative. Bless their hearts.
Bless their heart, indeedo.
Hey, listen, little man, you gotta go. You gotta go.
Look at that ginger baby. What's going on, man? What's cracking?
Okay, seriously. Come on, homie. You got to go. You got to go.
Homie, that's right. Has to go, Ginger.
Yeah, Pistol Pete is absolutely right with this. They just keep trying to wear us down and make it to where being a patriot is an embarrassment. And sorry, they're not going to succeed in that effort.
No,
It is not going to happen.
it's gonna bite them back, bro.
It's going to blow up in their face.
Yeah.
The problem is it's not just them; it's the big tech as well. And right now, the big tech is on their side. Okay, so they censoring conservatives, they censoring Trump supporters, and they all the liberal ideas, everything they push that on all the major social media sites. But it's going to get to the point that all these social media sites are going to censor them as well. They're going to censor just anybody they don't like.
Exactly.
Anybody whatever doesn't fit their narrative, they're gonna they'll care
if it's bad for business, they're not gonna go for it.
You know, so they're doing whatever they want. So they need to be checked. That's what the real problem is, because our kids, well, some of them live on those social media. Like my goddaughter, she's glued to the goddamn phone all the time.
But you know what really upsets me is the fact that they believe what they see in there.
Exactly.
And that's not reality, man.
Well, that's why you got to keep talking to your kids. I kind of on the rocky terms with my freaking oldest one, because I just found out he got a goddamn tattoo and he was hiding it for 3 months. But anyway, he's back in school. But try to have a chat with my daughter. Same thing. She's 16. She's at that age that whatever she sees, she believes, and she thinks she knows it all. She's a freaking smartest person in the world because she saw it on YouTube. And she's a girl on top of it. Trust me. So much freaking harder than boys.
I'll totally agree with that. Girls are way more difficult.
Yes, you are. But you know what? Gotta have you. So we gotta put up with you. And vice versa.
Well, just to all the men out there that have women in their lives and are raising daughters, y'all are amazing. Because without y'all, there'd be
old college.
I have said for years and years, I have said for many, many years that there is a reason why men have to run the planet. And the reason is because women are too damn vicious.
Okay, calm down, bro. That was. They're vicious on each other. They're vicious on each other.
I can't even deny that statement, because we're not only vicious to each other, but if you mess with our kids or you mess with our family, like we will go from complete psychotic mama bear rip your throat out in like 0.0002 seconds. Like that switch flips real quick.
Well, I mean,
but some men have the ability to go, whoa, wait a second, let's talk about this. The females wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, they would just like tear each other apart. This is what that's my point is behind. But with that said, behind every great man is a woman rolling her eyes.
Yep.
Yes and no, because there's a lot of women out there that I have a lot of amazing women in my life, and I strive for their success because no matter what I'm doing or no matter what they're doing, I have such an amazing tribe of women that we look forward to each other's successes, and we are there to help support each other when we fall flat on our ass. But you have to have that tribe, because this world is terrible all on its own. But yeah.
Freaking okay. You crazy ass. That's fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Hey, my wife says that I'm the head of the family, but she's the neck the head sits on. Neck turns the head. Head only sees whatever neck lets it.
Exactly.
The head only sees. I like that analogy.
Yeah,
I
that is
really
true, bro.
do.
That is true. No, but I don't know, man. It's just getting really bad. It's getting to a point where we can't even have a simple discussion anymore because like before we could agree to disagree, but we could be friends. We don't have that anymore. It's really hard.
No. There's so many people so easily offended because you don't agree with them that it turns into a yelling match, and it's where's the conversation? Where in society did we go from let's talk and come to a conclusion to if you don't agree with me, I'm going to end your life
Yeah.
or your
Or
means of livelihood.
the funniest thing that happened to one of my friends who's black, by the way. Some lady called him a white supremacist, and I was dying laughing. I go, "Hey, fool, you like that Bixby guy in freaking Chappelle show?"
Bottom line is, if you have a 401k or you have any kind of investment, and you're gonna choose a Biden over Trump, when you saw what happened to your 401k in the last 4 years, you're just a dumbass. That's plain and simple. My sister was a diehard Democrat. She voted for Obama twice. She voted for Hillary. Literally 6 months after Trump got in, she was on the Trump train like there's no tomorrow, and she was like all that conspiracy theory till the last moment. There's gonna be something. She was sending me all these links. I mean, half the Trump swag I got is from her. So, and basically that's all it took. She looked at the 401k. I was like, holy crap! Look what happened in a couple of years, and 8 years of Obama, nothing happened.
Well, and that's one of the things that ended up being what it was. Is they kept Biden himself was saying, Trump, you're just so focused on Wall Street. Yeah, that's all you care about is Wall Street, Wall Street. And yeah, you got to look at that as a president. You have to look at that because that tells you what's happening in the economy. You can't just go to every mom and pop shop. You just can't go to every business out there. That tells you what's going on in the company, in the country when it comes to economics. Jamie, good to see you, sir. How the heck are you?
I'm good, man. Sorry I'm late, guys. AG-23, AR gun 1776. Dave Thorzak. I was watching a little bit. I was walking the dogs out in the woods, man, and I took a tumble. So, got a little,
Oh,
yeah. I guess I'm a little old and fat to be walking the dogs out in the woods, but I should have put my boots on.
Hey, man, you need a life alert, bro. Seriously.
Damn.
You're going to be all right over there.
I fall. I can't get up.
Yeah.
Do we need to get a bubble for you?
No, I'm good. Thanks, though.
Put you in a bubble so you can't hurt yourself.
I know. But it's been raining here all day. I took the dog out. I didn't put my boots on. I went in my sneakers, and I wanted to go one way. She wanted to go the other, so I just kind of fell there for a second. But it's okay. I'm up, moving.
gee whiz. So who's walking who out there in the forest then?
You don't know my dog, man. I have to walk her because she's only about knee high, but man, she's strong. She's really strong.
Yeah, that's the one good thing. I don't have to walk the dogs. I just open the back door and let them out. You know, the big one usually stays on the property. She's good. She actually ran on the road the other day after somebody else, which usually doesn't happen. Little one, she goes exploring. She stole the toys from the neighbor's yard. The other day she came home with a donut in her mouth. So no wonder she doesn't eat the food we give her. You know?
Hey, Kingpin. Hey, let
That
me
damn
ask y'all a
dog thinks he's
question.
Dora the Explorer, Dora, man. Dominoes, come on.
I know.
Swipe or no swiping?
They're squatch. So this, I got to know this. Uh, and y'all have touched on it a little bit. Mario was just talking about it. When did conservatives, anybody with conservative beliefs, and I can run down a few of them if you want to, that believe we need to watch the purse strings of our government. We need to we need to hold on to the values that the Constitution sets for. We don't need to be borrowing anybody's guns or ammunition or that kind of thing. We have the Second Amendment for a reason, and we don't really need to go around using, and I hate to say this, but using abortion as a means of birth control. Those are, basically fundamental truths that we believe in. So when did people who believe like that automatically become white supremacists?
When Democrats started filling in the seats.
Well, I heard a little bit this morning. I got up early. I was fairly early, and the talking heads were on Meet the Press. And yeah, my congresswoman is Marjorie Taylor Greene, and y'all know that she is a bad word in the national press lately. And she's just
Oh
one
yeah.
of us. I mean, she's just one of us. She's just like us. She thinks like us. She believes like us. They're calling
Well,
her a white supremacist.
and I think the problem is that a lot of these politicians don't own a dictionary, bless their hearts, but they're using words that they don't really know what the true meaning is. And unfortunately, we have people out there have voted in these ignorant uh um we'll just call them ignorant people because I want to keep this as PG as possible because my kid is in another room. But they don't want to do their job. And then when you call them out on the nonsense that they are pushing, then you become the problem because a lot of these politicians just want to be able to have our tax paying dollars as I maybe show up to work, but I get paid. I'm here to push my own agenda and I'll get paid to do it. And nobody out there is really holding them accountable. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, I love that woman because she is a spitfire. She has no problem calling them out on their BS. She has no problem telling them how stupid and uneducated they are. Like, she is a force to be reckoned with, and I cannot wait to see where she goes because she is going to give them a run for their money.
Another person that kind of I wonder why she left politics was Tulsi Gabbard. She's no longer a congressperson anymore. Yet she is one of the few Democrats that actually sounds like she makes sense. But yet she's not part of the Democratic Party anymore. We're not part of the inner circle. Why is that?
Well,
Because
here's
they
the problem.
kicked her out.
Yeah, here's the problem. Okay, how do you think Schumer or Pelosi stayed there for decades, and all these other congressmen, senators stayed there for decades? It's just they corrupt, they own the establishment. So when the newcomer comes in, and it's 1, 2, 3 years, whatever, how long they're there, eventually they're either gonna start playing with them, or they're gonna find a way to get them out. Look at Alexandria Cortez. First, she was Pelosi's puppet. Then she threw a couple of ideas that Pelosi didn't like. Now Pelosi's freaking grinning her teeth at her as well. Same goes for what's his name? The Kershaw. He's pretty cool. No, the good thing he's got going for him, he comes from Texas. But eventually, all these guys that are there longer, they either gonna find some dirt on them, or they're gonna find a different way to get them on their side. And if they don't, they'll find a way to get rid of them. So there's a good chance if you don't want to play a ball and they dig up some dirt on you, and so you either play our way or get out of the field.
See, here's my thing. There's nothing stopping her from becoming a Republican, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Well, maybe there is something. Maybe they got dirt on her, so that's why she just says forget it. She's out of politics. You have to also understand after the two times during the freaking thing, you have a full retirement package. So if you're in a congressman, after 4 years, you're collecting what, like 120 grand a year, and you got a medical and all that shit. What the hell? You know what? If there's too much shit going on, might as well enjoy your retirement. You have to be in the Army for 20 years, and your retirement's a joke. These motherfuckers get this kind of treatment after 4 years. Where's the sense in that?
And so that's a travesty.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And this crap like that is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. It can't go forever because I keep saying it. The government's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now we found out the Fauci got what? How many freaking $1 million a year? He got more money than the president. And we got 4 million federal employees. Why the fuck do we have 4 million federal employees? Like, oh my freaking God. And all these federal employees are not getting $30,000 a year. I pretty much guarantee that.
Yeah, not only that, but we're not even talking about the military in those numbers. That's just civilian.
Yes, civilian employees. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Well, people don't understand that. On the one hand, okay, so the congressman gets what, $180,000 a year, but he also has a freaking staff, and the staff gets X amount of money, and the office, and then he doesn't only have an office in the DC, also have an office like Delgado. He's got an office over here, so there's staff in this office. So where the hell all these money keep coming from? You can't go on like that. That's the problem. When you can go to school and your major is politics, that's just wrong. That's just wrong because how the hell are we breeding kids to be politicians? Being a politician shouldn't be a career. It shouldn't be a career. It should be more of a voluntary thing or okay, some kind of job, but there has to be a term limit, because that's what it is. The Congress is a 200-plus-year-old establishment that people been there for generation, and they got their own people there for generation, and so on and so forth. And it just keeps going. And once in a blue moon, some outsider like Alexandria Cortez or Kershaw or Ted Cruz, somebody like that gets in, but mostly they just control it, and that's the biggest freaking problem.
It really is, and I don't remember. Was it Thomas Jefferson, George Washington? That said that government service in Congress should never be an occupation. That should never be a career. And that's one of the reasons why they hated Trump so much, is because he wasn't part of the game.
Yep, he wasn't he was a politician. He's the one who's been bribing them all these years to get his contracts and whatnot. So he knew the other.
Yeah, one thing I did notice about Trump that I've never noticed from anybody else is how he really exposed the media. Because to be honest with you, a lot of us, never knew the extent of their power and what they do. It was interesting. I found something because I'm a big believer that history has a tendency to repeat itself. And Malcolm X said this 50 years ago. He says, "The media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent. And that's power. because they control the minds of the masses. The press is so powerful in its image making role, it can make the criminal look like he's a victim and make the victim look like he's a criminal. If you aren't careful, the newspapers will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. Now, I understand a lot of people don't like Malcolm X because he's very controversial, but you know, the truth hurts, Peaches, just the way I see it.
Absolutely. There's a great movie. Well, actually, it's a series on Netflix. I forgot what it's called, but it's basically about Olympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia, back in the day. I think it was like in the 80s or something. And there was a security guard that actually found the backpack and called like federal police, even though everybody told him, you know, it's just a joke. He goes, no, you have to follow the procedure. And it turns out to be a bomb. He basically saved a lot of people. In the whole movie, basically, the media turned it around, and they said he's the one who planted the bomb. They made him a bomber, and basically one a journalist in particular. In the meantime, she was drunk and drug addict and whatnot. She painted him the worst possible way, and it took her years. And long story short, you gotta watch a movie, but that shows the true power of the media. And this is back in like 80s or 90s. Now with 25 years later, with social media and all digital and everything is instant, forget about it. You know, like I said, when we were in a DC on a Trump rally, all I could do, there was a lot of people, so that probably didn't help, but I could not send any pictures through. None of my pictures that I tried to send would go through. I could send a regular text message and receive it, but no pictures. Called my wife. She browsed through all the news channels. There wasn't a single word about any Trump rally in the DC, none of that. Then basically, once it was over, we walking back to the hotel. All of a sudden, all my text messages and the pictures go through, no problem. And my wife knew about the Capitol riots before I did, literally. I mean, the minute it happened, it was on every major news station, and they were portraying us like biggest goddamn terrorists in the world.
Okay.
Yeah, New York said the same thing. It was the same with him, same exact thing. He couldn't get any text, any pictures through. Now, by the way, if you go watch my channel, a couple of days after, we had a great chat about the events, and there was 4 of us, and everybody kind of painted their point of view. You know, everybody had a different point of view of what they saw, so probably worth to watch. And to this day, like if I go somewhere, I talk to somebody, and we start talking about the Capitol building, and I'm like, yeah, I was there. Everybody, really? I'm like, yeah, where the fuck were you? You should be there, right there with me. You should have been there with me. Instead of 1 million people, there should be 3 million people.
So the Olympics were in Atlanta in 1996, and that man's name was Richard Jewell.
Yeah, there you go.
We watched every night on the news this man being crucified. And I remember saying and thinking, what if this guy really didn't get it? All he did was found the backpack and did what he was supposed to do. And they barbecued him. They ruined that man. They absolutely ruined him.
Yep. Netflix did a great job on I think it's like a 3 or 4 series. It's pretty good. It was worth watching it.
I'll look that one up because I lived through that.
Yeah, that's even better when you live through it. You got your point of view as well. No, it was really nice because the whole thing was kind of unbiased. They did it. You know, Netflix is weird sometimes with the shit they put up. But this was definitely worth it.
Yeah,
There you go.
the media itself controls what people think because that's what information they get. And so if you're focused on just one channel and that's the channel that you watch to get all your news, then whatever they're going to be spieling to you is going to influence everything that you believe and everything that you trust. If you trust that that's actual news, then that's what you're going to believe.
Well, yeah, if the only channel you watch as far as news is CNN, absolutely, you know. And then you flip the Fox, and Fox once in a while they say something else, but you know they kind of out of there. Newsmax is a little better, but even they are, you know, you don't have any true media anymore. That's why I really like Ben Swan. I love his show. You know, they're building their whole entire network, basically similar to like a Parler, but they got their own servers and all that, you know. So shit that happened to Parler can happen to them. But yeah, whenever I watch a good stuff, I put it on a community page on my channel. He makes, you know, he was actually like a real blown journalist for some big news station, and he quit and went doing this stuff because he couldn't handle all the fake media bullshit. Yeah, we are the media, Kingpin. He's right. And he makes a lot of good sense, and he researches a lot. I mean, I like to know, even if sometimes it's a bullshit, but if you research it and you got something to show, and even if it turns out to be bullshit at the end, it's at least you got different set of facts, so you can look at something, you know, with a different point of view. Like the whole thing about military taking over and FEMA taking over. I was watching this guy on Brighteon.com, and I think he's Health Ranger, healthnews.com, whatever. And first of all, I love listening to his podcast because it was, especially when I drive, because it was long, and he talks nice, and he basically just presents what he thinks and certain facts that he knows, and he lets you kind of draw your own conclusion. And even he said, you know what? I mean, this all could be bullshit, and we're just being conned. You know, but this could happen. That's why, like, all the stuff that he says kind of made sense and made you think twice about certain things. So sometimes it's just a different outlook that you need.
So, Jamie, what have you been up to as of late?
You mean other than rolling around in the woods on rocks and stuff like that?
Yes, precisely.
I just well, we had our live stream Friday night, and I sat in with Uncle Jim a little bit last night, and this past week has been eventful in our lives because we had the gall to actually go to the doctor with flu symptoms, and so we immediately got taken out of work and told we couldn't go anywhere and all that kind of stuff. Gave us the quick test there at the doctor, and it came back negative, of course, because we just got a cold and flu, and that wasn't good enough, so we had to have the molecular test where they send it in, and so because of that, I missed Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of work, and we'll miss tomorrow because I still haven't gotten my test results back, and I can't go back to work until I get a negative.
Yeah, same thing happened to me this week. A coworker, a guy in my crew tested positive, and so I had to go out test. And so I missed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before my results came back, and I was negative, so I went back to work. But yep, similar situation happened to me today or this week. There's still a lot of people that have issues with it. Mario's stepfather is in the hospital, has been for an extended period of time. So it's not going to go away. Everybody knows it's not going away. But yeah, I had to be out myself this week as well.
So a lot of people missing a lot of paid hours.
No worries. COVID will go away. like Rich said, Biden's gonna sign executive order and ban it.
Well, I hope he knows what he's signing this time.
I don't think that man knows what he had for breakfast.
No, well, the one of the executive orders that caused a lot of chaos was $15 an hour minimum wage. And so I'm not sure if he understands that there's a difference between regular minimum wage and federal minimum wage. But yes, there is a separate federal minimum wage. So if the executive order was strictly for federal minimum wage, or if it was for national minimum wage, is another story. If it was for just federal minimum wage, that's a big increase, as it's literally doubling what they were making. They were making $7.25 under federal minimum wage as of the beginning of this year.
You know what that's going to create? It's going to create a lot of kiosks, because there's no way there's going to be all these people are going to be manning those, every cash register, there's just no way, man. There's no way any mom and pop can stay afloat, especially with all the stuff that's going on right now with the COVID. There isn't, they haven't even provided that much relief for mom and pop, businesses, but yet, they're going to send a lot of money to all these big corporations, like Target, Walmart, Home Depot. All these are going to get all kinds of kickbacks. But what about that?
Walmart's been preparing for it for quite some time. That's why they have all the self-checkout stations now at Walmart's.
Yeah, but it's dumb, man, because there's going to be less opportunity for many people to especially young people that are going to college and stuff like that. Very few of them are going to have opportunities, because most of these corporations are going to find another way, some way to make food, or to make anything that's going to be a lot less cost effective. A lot of these people that create these kind of policies have no idea, or have no common sense, especially when it comes to economy, man. I think all of us would love to get paid a certain amount of wage, but everything is going to go up even more. The basic cost of living is going to go up, because as you raise the wages, everything's going to raise up pretty soon. Just buying like produce is going to become so expensive, because in reality, farmers have to kick back those that amount to the consumer. So it's just going to get crazy.
Yeah, definitely gonna put a hurt on the kids trying to make some living. Every 16-year-old that wants to buy groceries or shit like that in a supermarket, they're gonna cut it down. Absolutely. On the one hand, to be honest, I would like to see more self-checkout lines, because they have 15 goddamn cashier lines, and 3 of them are open. And you got one cashier that controls 4 or 5 self-checkout lines. So I would like to see them more. So yeah, I'm kind of on board with that. But then again, New York already has I think $12.50 or something as far as a minimum wage, so it's not that far off to 15 anyway.
Well, and that's the thing that I'm saying is this going to affect state by state? Is this national, or is it just on the federal side of minimum wage? Because federal minimum wage, if you were working for the Fed, was $7.25 at the beginning of this year. So if that affects the just federal minimum wage, it's going to affect the economy a little bit, but it's not going to affect the economy like it would if it's national minimum wage. That's going to destroy businesses, make it impossible for people to even start businesses. But if it's just on federal minimum wage, then that's what we should pay congressmen. $15 an hour for every hour they actually work.
Yeah, but they're gonna probably charge us 24 hours a day.
Yeah, and because I'll be honest with you, the California was already going in that same route, because they're going to whole 15 hour. minimum wage, but it was going to be progressively put. I think by 2024 is when this thing would take place.
Yeah,
If they
same
start,
here.
if they start doing that right now, I guarantee you, all the small mom and pop businesses here will go away. All of them. There's not one that would stay around. You know,
Yeah,
and
the only thing that you're going to see open is like nail salons, and that's because all the relatives are working there.
Yeah, but even a small
such a
business,
racist fuck. Yeah.
even a small
God.
business, you have to understand. A lot of these guys, they pay cash. Okay, my kid worked minimum wage at a supermarket, and yeah, you get 12.50 or whatever an hour. They gave them extra $2 or whatever during the COVID, blah blah blah. End of the day, they took all the freaking taxes away. He wound up with what, about 8.50 an hour. So I'm like, dude, come work for me. I'll pay you cash. I'll give you $20 an hour. So sometimes it's that kind of deal that they have going on. So what I'm saying is, if they don't increase the minimum wage, it's fine, but everything needs to increase altogether. I came here in 94. My first job, I was getting paid $6.50 an hour, and I lived within my means back then. So yeah, we shared the apartment with a bunch of other guys. When I go to store, I live off the spam and whatnot. For me, it was a little different. Because I came from a completely different country, but I was getting raised as I learned. So I went up, and within 8 months, I was making $12-13 an hour. So it's all about what you're worth.
Yeah.
As long as everything else
Yeah,
gets
but it's literally going to raise the cost of everything. I mean, the cost of milk, the cost of, you're already seeing the price of fuel go up, and that's because
the cost of living. The cost of living is going to go it's going to go super, super high, man. I'm telling you, even places where it's like it was very affordable to buy a house or to rent a house, it's going to be so crazy, man. I'm telling you, because everything it has to, some way, somehow people have to make up for their losses. You know what I'm saying?
Kingpin's got actual good point. It says the minimum wage should be whatever you are willing to work for. Set the free market free, which I agree. That's one of the reasons why I hate unions, because you have union carpenters making, let's say, $35 an hour. There's no way I can build residential construction and pay that kind of wage. It's just not going to happen. Because $35 an hour plus all the benefits, you're talking union carpenter is costing you about $800 a day. That's what you got to pay him. So that's just not going to happen. There's a reason why unions only have usually a state or federal jobs or county jobs. None of the residential stuff is built with the union guys. So he's got a point there. If you're worth X amount of money, then it shouldn't matter whether you're union or non-union or whatever you are. If I'm going to pay you $30 an hour because I think that's a fair money and you're willing to work for it, you will not take $5 out of that and give it to your union. I don't have a problem with that. That's your problem. But I'm not paying you extra $5 because you're a union. That it shouldn't work like that. And that I have a huge problem with, and that's why I'm not saying union guys are bad. But what I'm saying is that's why you only see them building the high rises, doing the county work. All the county guys are union. All the state guys are union. All the cops are union and all that. They get pensions. They get all that. That we regular guys can't have, because they all get paid from freaking taxes.
Yeah, I mean, I think to me, unions were needed back in the 20s, 30s, maybe up to the 1960s. But then after that, there's really not a need, because if you would think about it, the United States changed a lot of their practice laws when it came to labor laws and all kinds of stuff. So the fact that those things still exist, it's mind-boggling to me. This is the reason why, like half of the stuff was made in China, because we have gone to the point that we're just too damn greedy,
Or the companies that we're working for are just too damn greedy. But with that said, I'm gonna make it a short one tonight. Just rolling a little bit without the foreign, with a couple of foreign. It doesn't really matter. But gonna roll through the room and go ahead and start closing this one out. So, JH, you got anything coming up?
Put a video out this week. Gonna take a look at some 6.5 Creedmoor loads, hopefully. So check us out on Friday nights on Georgia Shooting Connection channel. Friday nights at 8 o'clock. Thanks for having me, man. You guys in the panel, thanks for putting up with me.
Appreciate
Anytime.
you being with us.
We love putting up with you.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Gunpowder, you got anything coming in this coming week?
I'm gonna try really hard not to throat punch anybody. It's, it was a New Year's resolution. Don't throat punch nobody. Don't, hurt anybody. So I've made it so far this new year without throat punching anybody. So I'm gonna try for another week. Fingers crossed.
That is very, very impressive. You've made basically an entire month. I personally wouldn't have believed it to be true, but I don't have faith in most people. With that said, Val, you got anything coming in?
I don't have to worry about punching anybody because I stay away from people. I just hate them in general, so that helps me out. I'm just a pecker living in the woods. To be honest, I don't know. Right now, I got a big-ass snowstorm coming up, and looks like people like the DIY videos, so maybe I'll go back through the house and see the progress and maybe show that, since there's 3 of them I'm building right now. Maybe I'll teach Mario how to do something other than army crap.
In this episode of This Old Shack.
Mario, what you got coming up this week? Anything?
Nothing, man. Just trying to stay positive. I gotta mess with Val, man, because love that guy, man. No homo. But anyways, no, man, I got nothing going on. Oh, by the way, you guys haven't subscribed to my secondary channel, 11 Bravo Grunt. Please do so. I'm gonna start putting some content over there. That's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I stay out here on YouTube not to make videos. I stay out here on YouTube to annoy the shit out of everyone else, and occasionally have some great people in a chat. I appreciate everybody that came in with me tonight. We've had a great side chat. Thank you all for joining. It's always appreciated. Just always remember to keep your magazines loaded, no matter how small they are, and one in the chamber. Thank you very much, everybody. Much love to y'all. Woo!